Hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of StarSound Speaks. This is episode 250. Yes, 257. Got to get my facts straight. It's the new moon in Gemini. This is going to be quite an interesting, very powerful new moon. I'm going to explain it all to you. Okay. In this video, we're going to have three things to know about this new moon, how to use it, what to watch out for, and also two states in particular that are really going to be affected by this new moon in Gemini. So let's get started. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, welcome, or new to the channel, welcome, welcome. My name's Irlianna, and I do Hellenistic astrology, a tropical Western zodiac, using whole sign houses. And so let's get into this new moon. Okay, this one is a really powerful new moon. Why is that? Well, first of all, new moons are always new beginnings, right? And depending on the sign of the new moon, we're going to look at the domicile, the ruler. The ruler of this new moon is Mercury, because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. This is the new moon in Gemini. What's powerful about this is the fact that this new moon is co-present with Mercury, the domicile ruler. So it's right alongside there. So there's a lot of energy about, curiosity and all things mercurial. So also Mercury is the morning star now, and it's just now coming out from under the beams of the sun. And so it's now being able to be seen again in the sky. It's emerged as Mercury morning star. When Mercury is a morning star, it has more of a yang energy. It's a more out there, externalized energy. So it's the mind projected, it's intellect, it's like a, it's like flexing its muscles, and it's like the little kid, like I think of Peter Pan with Gemini, ADD poster boy of the zodiac, this enthusiasm and like, let's fly, let's go here, let's go there, let's check out everything in our path. And maybe we're a little distracted, but we want to take everything in. That's the kind of qualities that we have with a new moon in Gemini. So it's morning star. It's got this powerful flexing muscles. It's like, yay, let's get our hands dirty. Let's find out and learn things. And that's all great Geminian stuff, right? So it's bringing lots of new ideas, new plans, and new enthusiasm, curiosity, networking, buying and selling, or all of these things are very much and using the rational mind. It's very much the Mercury Gemini way. You can start new projects that'll, can finish something quickly and move on. You can benefit from using your mind. It's a very chatty, busy, sociable kind of vibe. Here's the thing though, very interesting. The main feature about this new moon is that it is in an overcoming square from Neptune. So here, let me pull up the chart and you can take a look at that. The new moon. Here we are. The new moon in Gemini for Washington, D.C. It takes place in the angular 4th house. Wherever it is in your chart, and is going to be where you'll have a new beginning, right? So, if it's in the 1st house, it'll be a new beginning, curiosity around your physical appearance, your body, your health, health and well-being, your personality, your image that you project. The 2nd house would be about money, finances, personal finances, some new starts there. New beginning, if you have it in your 3rd house, that would be a new beginning with perhaps neighbors and siblings and communications, new ways of engaging and opening your mind to these things. 4th house would be family, your roots, your family life, home life, physical home life too. Get curious around, remodeling perhaps. 5th house, you would be, I wasn't planning to do this, but why not, right? We're on a roll. 5th house is love affairs and romance and things. And so maybe you would meet some curious person who will sweep you off your feet. I don't know. I'm going to give you some caveats for everybody in just a moment. So let's finish this wheel. 6th house, the new moon in your 6th house would be new beginnings around your work life, your workplace, your daily routine, your service, your health, for sure. Be curious about new ways new engagements and new things to do with your health. Seventh house, this would be your new moon there, would be about new beginnings with a relationship or a collaboration, people who you partner with, marriage, business, etc., just clients one-to-one. The eighth house would be around finances and shared resources, wills, estates, inheritances, things of that nature, and the people who are that as well, who run that. So it could be some new beginnings in that area. The ninth house would be spirituality, travel, foreign travel, long distance travel, occult wisdom, philosophy, religion, spirituality, that sort of thing. The 10th house is the house of career and your public reputation. So a new moon there would be fresh new beginnings in that area of your life. The 11th house rules friends, cohorts, people, who support you. And who do you support? Get curious and have new beginnings around friendships, perhaps networking and forming new networks of friends. And your 12th house is the house that is the joy of Saturn. So it's the house of the hermit. It's a place where we find solitude. So there could be some exciting new adventures awaiting for you in the world that is non-material. The ability to, I'm going to say a lot more about that right now. Let me take a drink of water first. And by the way, breathe. Thank you. I'm reminding myself. Mercury rules the lungs. So definitely breathe. I'm going to breathe and take a sip of water. Okay. So on to these interesting features. All right, so the thing about this is that Sun is overcoming square from Neptune. So it's within a degree. Neptune's in its home sign of Pisces. So the Sun making that square from Neptune can bring some really interesting, so this typically, if you were just looking at Gemini energy, it's rational, it's very left brain, right? Left brain, correct, right? Not right brain, left brain. Sun is overcoming square. So there is this kind of conflict or action that needs to be taken. So what that's saying is this is an opportunity for us to look carefully at boundaries and the dissolution of boundaries. If you saw my previous video around Saturn, Saturn's just gone retrograde at 7 degrees. And that is, as a matter of fact, in a wonderful little sextile with Jupiter. So there is this easy blend of wisdom and self-control that's available to us as we move forward. But the square with Neptune is, we want to look we want to be aware of the fact that there's a need for boundaries. So people who chat too much, I just had Michael Bartlett on. We were talking about the Venus and Leo upcoming retrograde, and he was so funny. He said, do you ever hear about this? 2 Geminis walk into a bar speaking. Who's listening? So this is good stuff for the new moon in Gemini. We're speaking, but are we listening? And so where Saturn wants us to listen from is from the non-linear world. So yes, of course, listen to people in your environment, but you want to look at healthy boundaries around speaking and listening, and also about protecting ourselves too. We can be more vulnerable than usual with that Saturn square. Take great care to speak up, take great care to listen, and be careful that you're not getting taken advantage of, you're not fooling others, or you're not being fooled. Because that overlay with the Neptunian energy can obscure facts and logic. Sometimes we I think this is the way it is, but it can be confusing. The way through that is to listen to your inner voice. So not the voice that's talking, but the inner, the small, silent voice, the one that doesn't lead you wrong. And with Mercury having to do with problem solving, that would be where you'd really ultimately solve problems. There's a great amount that's available to us in this new moon with creative problem solving, drawing upon the intuitive nonlinear worlds, the nonlinear mind, and those mystical realms that Pisces represents. So I would say, allow mystery and creativity to flow through you and inspire you as you meet and connect and explore the world and explore new friendships and explore new networking opportunities. Just allow that, dance with the mystery, dance with the unknown. You don't have to have it all figured out. I know personally in my life, planning this vacation I'm going on, I've been feeling, gosh, normally I love to, I get very Virgo around details. I have things all planned out and I know exactly what's awaiting me there and all the various things that I can do. Except this time I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't know, maybe I'm just getting too old. I'm like, I'll figure it out when I get there. There's plenty of places for me to stay. I'm just like, I have my first night figured out, but the rest and first 2 nights. And then I'm like, I'll just go with it. So I'm already feeling that flow, that whole square with Neptune, right? Just go with the flow, allow mystery and creativity to flow, allow it to inspire you. You don't have to have it all figured out. Especially, but again, at the other side of that is don't deceive yourself either. And we, especially with traveling, Mercury rules travel, short distance travel, transportation, cars, trains, planes, and automobiles. When traveling, buying, learning, when you're investigating something, don't delude yourself. Be honest. It may be a little more difficult to be that way or to get that information, but again, the way through is to just hear from within. This is a great lunation for fantasy writing, for writing of all kinds, travel writing, writing mystical thing with that overlay from Neptune, mystical, beautiful, mystical poetry or beautiful, wonderful, inspired kinds of writing. Dreams, travel writing, all of these things, fantasy writing, fantasy sci-fi, all of those things. What you want to watch out for with Mercury, you always want to watch out, especially with Gemini, is gossip. So gossip is obviously the worst. It's very, very negative. It's harmful. And gossip is not necessarily speaking it, but also just listening to it, being a space for it. If somebody is gossiping and you're not saying anything back to them, like, hey, you know what, I don't want to really go there, that can very much be an issue as well, because then we're actually enabling it when we're allowing somebody to go on and on, or if somebody allows us. I always appreciate it if I find myself going there, that somebody will call me out and go, wait, woo, let's rein this in. So something to be aware of. Okay, so the last two things I want to just say are, or the last thing is two states that it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Opportunities. Oh, by the way, before I mention those two states, hold on. The other really cool thing that I realized is that this is making and I'm going to show you the chart so you can actually see it. When you think about this new moon is opposite the galactic center. The galactic center is a point in space. It's about 27 degrees of Sag, and that is the center of the Milky Way, the galactic center. It's also often associated with truth and whistleblowers. Like the quest for truth is very Sagittarian, and I've heard it called the whistleblower point. And it's interesting because today I found out that Daniel Ellsberg passed on. He was 92, and he was the architect of the Pentagon Papers, and which ultimately, was Nixon's downfall and all of those, for all these who were not born in those. Anybody who was younger than a millennial would know, or older than a millennial. But anyway, rest in peace, rest in power, Daniel Ellsberg. Interesting because his chart, his ascendant was conjunct the galactic center. So it's no surprise that this, he passed at this timing. Anyway, the interesting thing about, so he was a very great man. So I think with this particular configuration for this new moon, we're going to hear more about truth-telling, whistleblowing, this quest, this desire to know and collect. Mercury, Gemini loves to collect facts and data and tabulations and things, polls and inquiries and investigations. So the desire and the new interest and the new initiative to do that is definitely met with, this is a mutable new moon, mutable sign. Things change, things shift. And with that overcoming square from Neptune, it's like we could be deceived, or it might be just hard discerning what the facts are. So again, as I said before, lean into your intuition. That won't ever lead you wrong. Okay, so the two states, California and Florida. Let me put those charts up for you so we can take a look here. Okay, here's the state of Florida. Now, I don't know what it is for every single state in the union. I don't have the, I need to do my laundry. Okay, there may be other ones that are affected, but for sure, I would say too, with this particular new moon, let's take a look at this. Creative problem solving. Here's the galactic center. Interesting, I realized as I was writing this up, Mars is conjunct the galactic center for the state of Florida, because here it is, 26 degrees of Sagittarius. So this natally, right? So the outside ring is the transit, is the new moon in Gemini. As you can see, it's exactly opposite that Mars. And here it is, here's the square with Neptune. And the opposite here is Ceres, which is the minor planet. Ceres is a goddess. It's a goddess. She's the goddess of grain and fertility and agriculture. So you see this grand mutable cross. There could be some shifts and changes. So it's going with the flow, being intuitive to deal with the supply. When you think about the supply chain, the food supply, all manner of things like that, there is this opportunity to, again, what is the highest truth? There's this very fiery quest for truth and justice and knowing the truth. It's like things are kind of at angles with each other. Knowing what is true, discerning too. I think with Ceres in the sign, the discerning sign of Virgo. So there's some discernment that's at play. You know, facts and what we desire and wish for, but not being delusional about. And the creative problem solving that's available when we tap into, you know, a higher truth, higher wisdom, galactic center, our, you know, divine light beings from other worlds that can assist us with what we're dealing with here on the ground. So I would also say too, to be honest and real here, with that really strong late degrees of Gemini, Gemini's an air sign and it rules wind and weather, you know, so Gemini was the weather. So with that overcoming squares, you can see here from Neptune that we could have Neptune and Pisces. You know, Florida is a Pisces state. Here's the sun, 13 Pisces. Saturn hasn't gotten there yet, but that's another story for another time. You know, it won't go past this point until probably end of the year or next year. But as you can see here, this overcoming, we might be seeing wind, rain, some maybe high winds and rain, or the coastlines. You know, I hate to say the H word, it is that hurricane season as of June 1st, but we've already seen some things in the news in the Gulf. I mean, and you know how they form off the coast of Africa, and there's some very early activity. So we might be seeing that for this lunation, just to be, you know, aware. Okay, the other one is the state of California. So let's pull that one up. And let's see, here we are. California. Nope, that's Florida. Wait, wrong one. Hold on. Share. Where's California? Here it is. Nope. I named them. Oh, you see that? I named them the wrong thing. Hold on a second. Okay, so California new moon. Here we go. As we can see here, California is a Virgo state, and it is the sun is in 16 degrees of Virgo. This new moon is squaring the sun. It's in a separating square, but what I'm looking at here is the sun. Obviously, here's the galactic center, would be in the first house of California. And here is this the square, this grand mutable square coming from Neptune in the fourth. Again, I would think about oceans, winds, water, maybe flooding. You know, we've had so many news stories around the water crisis with the Colorado River, Lake Powell, and all feeding. The Colorado River feeds the water supply of California, all the Central Valley, and it provides, what is it, a good third of the produce of the United States comes from this area. So what goes on in California, obviously, it's very important for all of us to know. So I would say perhaps wind might be an issue, wind and water, and but again, the opportunity to develop creative problem solving and solutions using these, if indeed these hardships and challenges occur, the answer is to lean into that galactic center. So this is a T-square with Ceres exactly conjunct Jupiter, you see, in the food sign of Virgo, the agriculture sign. So that might be challenged with the agricultural output. But as my friend Andrew, my dear friend who taught me astrology, one of my early teachers, he said, when you've got a T-square like this, there's tension and there's a leg missing. It's like 3 legs of a table. So what's the 4th leg that will allow the energy to flow smoothly? Well, the galactic center, 26 Sag. Wow, okay. So that's the going there and accessing divine wisdom is going to be that 4th leg that will balance the energy here for both these states. And in our charts, when we look and see where is 26, what house does Sag rule? Where is 26 to 27 degrees of Sag in your chart? That's the point. That house and what it represents is what's going to give us the balance. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to share for today. And I hope you've enjoyed this and got some good stuff out of it. Tell me what you're up to for this full moon. Obviously, we don't need caffeine. Saturn's saying, no, slow down. Caffeine, you can't go in, you can't be in your head, right? You got to like be in your heart, being the higher mind. Caffeine doesn't help. Chocolate tastes good, but caffeine doesn't help. By the way, I went through this huge stack of chocolate, tons of chocolate when at 0 degrees, when Jupiter went into Taurus at 0 degrees. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to do this for a year. Then I remembered, no, 0 degrees. Once I got off 0 degrees, I calmed down. Once Saturn went retrograde, I'm like being a little slower with the consumption. So anyway, I don't know why I mentioned that, but you can see the power of astrology in everyday life. All right. Hope you have a great one. Tell me what you're up to and what you like to do, or what are you feeling to do in your life. Always lovely to hear from you. Hope you've enjoyed this. Please do like, share, subscribe. And I love hearing from you and chatting with y'all and answering questions and just having fun. But officer, I'm just the new moon's in Gemini. I'm just having fun. And those sparkling, swirling lights in my rearview mirror are not you, officer, because galactic center. Anyway, all right, have a great, wonderful new moon. This energy will take us forward, toning the sun going into Cancer very shortly this week. But this new moon, of course, tones and colors that experience. So I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Blessings. This is Irlianna Samsara, StarSound Speaks, StarSoundastrology.com. Namaste.